Hello and good evening. I don't know how many of you are here. Thank you for joining. So, um, evening to you all. And thank you very much for joining this evening to talk about various matters like Meghan Markle and um, Prince Harry and the situation with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Thank you very much for being here. So, I don't know who is here. If you can hear me, please announce yourselves. Would be helpful because sometimes people can hear me and sometimes they can't. So um, it seems that I can be heard, but um, there we are. So thank you for joining us. We've got Paulie and Natalia and Marcia and Wadier's talk and Mrs. Hensley, the famous Mrs. Hensley. She's a famous local character. So welcome, Mrs. Hensley. Andrea and Lucas Witherspoon, all the way from America, another dear friend of mine from America. So yes, so whilst we wait for a few others to join in, some questions from you, please. Let's have a few questions from you. Any questions you want, you can begin with whilst we wait for a few more people to join in on this thing, because this is the way this YouTube thing works. You have to wait till all the people arrive and then you start talking. So, anyway, welcome to Tracy, Elaine, and Beth, and Susan, and whoever else. I don't know who else. I don't see all your names. It's the ones who. So the first question is, how have I spent my day? I spent the day today meeting various people. Amongst the people I met today was a man called Rex Leyland, the famous Rex the Sex on Twitter. If you want to follow him, follow Rex the Sex. He was the owner of Foxtrot Oscar, the restaurant on Royal Hospital Road, the famous Foxtrot Oscar, an amazing restaurant. And if you come on my walking tour, you can go past there. He did own the restaurant and he sold it along with a man called Michael Proudlock to Gordon Ramsay. So if you knew anything of the history of Chelsea, Foxtrot Oscar was a place where Sarah Ferguson used to hang out. Elizabeth Taylor fell off a bar stool. All sorts of people like Nigel Dempster used to be there, and all sorts of things. So yeah, so I was with Rex has a weekly lunch at my local restaurant with all sorts of characters, and he brings different people each time. And what a fabulous thing he puts together, a mixture of people. And today he had a man called Rod Weston, who, of course, is married to Patty Boyd, the lady who was married to Eric Clapton and one of the Beatles as well. So, all sorts of people were there. So it was a very nice little lunch party that I kind of sidelined myself into. Um, Celia asks about the mystery guest. There won't be a mystery guest this evening. The mystery guest is a very nice person, but he'd rather be private. But there is no problem between me and the mystery guest. Do not worry about it. So, right. Any more questions? Whilst we've got more of you coming in, we will welcome everybody that's here. So let's have a few more questions from those present. And then we will find a way to. Anyway, cheers to you all. I've got a glass of wine. Begin with a glass of wine. Best thing to do. And we will see where we go from here. Mrs. Hensley says, I met Patty Boyd years ago. She's lovely. There you go. Can't disagree with you, Mrs. Hensley. So there we are. Anyway, where is Fergie? is the first question I get from Amanda Roberts. I believe Sarah Ferguson is currently in Portugal because her daughter has just had another child and she has been invited to stay there with the people, the family there. So she has gone there. The people I had lunch with today, there is a normal guest who comes along who has his own private plane. He did tell me on the previous occasion that Sarah Ferguson was seen arriving there by his own pilot. So, yeah, Sarah Ferguson is probably currently located in Portugal. It would make sense that she is currently there because her daughter has just had a child. Obviously, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is not in Portugal. He's living La Vida Loca in Norfolk. You know, lovely to be the former Prince Andrew. He hasn't got much of a life, has he, really? It's a bit sad and pathetic that this little damp squib of a man has been reduced to playing computer games and going for walks with the late Queen's corgis, where he nearly gets attacked by all sorts of people on beaches and whatever else. It's not really a happy lifestyle, is it, for somebody of his age who's the late Queen's second son? What a shameful way to end your life. What a piece of rubbish he truly is. There's not much of positivity to say for him. I'm getting messages coming in right now from one of his biggest supporters about something else, but we won't go down that avenue. But randomly, how strange. The minute you mentioned him, his biggest supporters messaged me. How odd. So maybe they're watching, but well done to everybody who continues to speak out in favor of the victims and the poor victims. And at the lunch I went to today, yeah, somebody sat there and they said, these victims, they're losers, basically. And, they're not losers. The victims are victims. And we must keep defending the rights of the victims to defend themselves. So there we go. Right. Okay. Your next questions. Rupert Lowe is a co-director of a company with Mrs. Murty Sunak's wife, Eddie Forts. I'm afraid I can't answer your question because I don't know what company you're talking about, Mr. Owen Smith. Provide some evidence and send it to me, editorial at thesteepletimes.com. I'll have a look and I can comment, but I can't comment on something I don't know about. So I'm terribly sorry I can't answer your question. Right. Mrs. Hensley is going to have a glass. Well, cheers to Mrs. Hensley. I hope you're having a good time. You should come across the road and join us. It would be a nice thing if you did. You'd be very welcome, Mrs. Hensley. It would be lovely to have you with us, but perhaps not tonight, but maybe in the next time. It could be quite fun. The person whose home this is would no doubt love to have you here. Cheers to everybody. So, anyway, next person. Next question. We've got quite a few of you arriving, 56 of you now, more and more. Do I think that he can leave the country if he wants to? I assume by he, Tracy means Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has already left the country. He's been to France. He's already been over there. So, yes, he can leave the country. He has perfect right to travel. He has no movement restrictions. So, him and Peter Mandelson, neither of the two of them have any restrictions on their movement, in spite of the grave allegations against the pair of them, they are able to move. So why is that? Curious thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. Why are these two people able to move around the country in this manner when other people who commit minor crimes are unable to do anything? So, isn't that a curious thing that you find very odd? I certainly find it very odd. Um, there we go. Please just tell me, do you think it's fair that Peter Mandelson, a man who is a traitor to this country clearly from his emails, is able to have a passport and travel whilst he's under investigation? Other people who are ordinary people would have been arrested. Okay, I can understand the matter of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor being treated slightly differently, but this man, Mandelson, is a civilian. He's not a member of the royal family. He is a senior politician, but that does not make him above the law. He should be treated with the full and fair force of the law, particularly. So, Peter Mandelson, as Natalia says, you dirty, dirty dog. I agree with Natalia. Well said, Natalia. We've got more people coming in, two-tier policing. Peter Mandelson is scum. He's detritus. He's a piece of rubbish. This is a man who piddles on the pavement. What a revolting little man he is. Couldn't he have gone back inside the home of George Osborne and used his lavatory? What a pathetic little man. What a piece of rubbish he is. He is so revolting. Petey, who walked around in his underpants in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. What a disgusting lowbrow specimen you are. Yeah, Peter Mandelson is a dirty dog. He can bog off. Yes, we're getting lots of comments coming in of that type. Mandy is part of a big club. Yes, Mandy is evil. He's gross. Yeah, precisely. Wicked, wicked little man. Why would anyone ever excuse Peter Mandelson? Peter Mandelson is rotten to his core. He has conned you. He has conned everybody. The Prince of Darkness. Do you remember all the things that this man did? And why all of a sudden are we getting to the point? And we'll come to it later in this program about Gordon Brown. I'll talk about it later, specifically when there are more people involved. But, why is Gordon Brown suddenly speaking out? So there's your question. Think about that. Why now? That is what matters. So think about that. Think about the wickedness of this wicked club and how they stick together. Birds of a rotten feather always stick together. And this is what we're getting here. Don't trust these people with a used bus ticket. So who else would you like me to talk about? Who else don't you like? Who else have you got a problem with? But we will get to these people when we get on to talking about specifics. But for now, Prince Harry and Meghan, Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein and what they did in England, and the likes of how Rupert Lowe has made an absolute fortune on social media. But, I don't have a problem with what he's done personally. He just used the system and he benefited from it. That's not my problem. But the rest of them, well, talk about evil personified. Mandelson is like a slippery slug. Slimy, says Owen Smith. Well, there we go. I totally agree with you. Thracian Grape says I'm funny. Well, I'm glad to amuse somebody. But anyway, please give me some more questions. And once we get to 100 of you, we'll start getting going with all sorts of topics of discussion. But there's plenty of you coming in. And, it takes a bit of time to get these programs going. So the more questions you have, the better. Why not have a few questions from you to begin? It's a much better way of beginning matters is let you ask whatever you want. So do you have any questions on any other topics? Let's have some other topics. Whatever topic you want to talk about. There's 76 of you here right now, so ask me a question. And if you want to support this channel, you're very welcome to. All the links are in the description box, as they say on all these other channels. If you want to support this channel, it's very welcomed, but you don't have to. It's entirely up to you if you wish to support us. But we love all the support we get from you, and you're all delightful. And, people who've been on my, last Sunday, I had 7 people on my walking tour. Absolutely fabulous. Peter York, the author of the Sloane Ranger Handbook, who's also written books about all sorts of other things. I'm going to do an interview with him. He was on this. He came along also for a second time. And, it's lovely to have such positivity from so many people who get involved. Tracy asks, have I any update on the David Sullivan story? Well, David Sullivan remains under investigation. It's again like Peter Mandelson. These things take time. So it will take many, many months until there's further developments with him and Karen Brady and Pika Pixton, all the other scumbags involved in that story. The rotten Karen Brady is the top of my list. Obviously, I cannot stand Karen Brady. Beth asks, who does my hair? Well, my hair's falling apart. I need a barber. I could do with one. My hair's rubbish. I could do with some new hair barber. Absolutely awful mess. But I used to have a barber, but he died. So I don't trust any of the others that I've tried subsequently. So I'm very weird about it. I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to people touching my hair. I don't like it. Awful. Anyway, next thing. Dirty David Sullivan. Yep, he's a vile person. Mrs. Hensley loved the Sloane Ranger manual. The handbook is what it's called. Someone borrowed it and I never saw it again. So, Mrs. Hensley, you must come along and meet again Peter York, and you can get another copy, perhaps. That would be a good idea. Mrs. Hensley is a famous local, and she uses a pseudonym here, but she is somebody who is part of the community. So we'd love to have Mrs. Hensley meet Peter York again. So whenever you would like. Mr. Witherspoon, who's a friend of mine, says he loves the longer hair. I'm in the same position, longer hair, as I've been recovering from surgery, and now it's become completely unkept. Well, there we are. So there we go. So people have different things. Spoony Spooky says, I will need to organize a visit. Well, people are very welcome to come on my little tours or to come to a dinner. I'm hoping to organize a dinner in September. You'd be very welcome to do that. So there are more people coming in, and we'll get talking about topics shortly. But if you would like to come to a dinner, please let me know. Editorial at thesteepletimes.com. You'd be very, very welcome. We can do all sorts of dinners. We will be doing a dinner with a well-known novelist, and I'll be doing some more crime dinners, and they will be in September. So if you'd like to come along to a dinner, how much does a dinner cost? Well, the dinners will cost about £85 a ticket, but you get 3-course dinner and you get wine included and a glass of Prosecco when you arrive, and you also get the speaker. So pretty good value. And the walking tours cost £30 a person, and they last 2 hours. So they're not expensive by the scheme of things. It's very affordable, and allegedly I undercharge. So if you'd like to come along, Natalia would like to come for a dinner next month. So there we go. Uh, right. Well, it seems that the podcaster called James English has been found guilty of something. I don't know what's happened to him, but Sean Atwood's channel has just announced this. So I don't know what's happened to him, but he's another English character. His name is Mr. English, and there we go. So I don't quite know what has happened there, but perhaps when my friend comes back, because I'm sitting here doing this by myself, I'll have to ask him to have a look at whatever the breaking news is, because obviously, whilst I'm talking to you, I don't look at anything other than the screen. So I have no idea what has just happened, but it seems something has happened. There we go. We have Alora Ciarte saying good morning from the former penal colony. Right, okay, and right. Oh, well, I don't quite know what all these messages are. I'm getting lots of very bizarre messages coming in. I cannot explain what these bizarre messages are. Mrs. Hensley says, Lady C says, Harry has a girlfriend and is in love. Mrs. Hensley, we'll talk about Harry and Meghan in due course. So hold your horses. We'll come back to that. So we won't talk about that for now. And thank you to everybody who's chatting away with all your comments. But I don't quite know what's happened with certain people, but £85 is a bargain for a dinner. Well, it is a bargain for a dinner because you get 3-course dinner, you get wine, and you get your Prosecco on arrival, which, I'm not a Prosecco fan myself, but that's a nice thing that the restaurant gives. And you also get to have a dinner with someone like Andrew Lowney or Martin Brandt of Sky News or Jeffrey Wansell, somebody amazing. And we've had it, Stephen Burkhoff. We've done a whole series of wonderful people, and it would be great to have more of you along for future events. So we'd love to have some of you here, and we may do a dinner in September. So if you'd like to come along, please send me an email, editorial@thesteepletimes.com. If you'd like to come on a little walk, I've given some dates on my Twitter. We can do one this Sunday, and we can do one even tomorrow. But, I could easily do one tomorrow, but it depends. If anyone wants one, let me know. I don't mind doing these things. It's easy peasy. It's easy work. So I just do it, and people enjoy it. And we've had so many amazing people come along. And thank you to all the 50 people or so who we've had nearly thus far. I think we've had about 40 something people who have supported these walking tours. People have arranged from local people. We've had a lady who came all the way from Bath on Sunday. We had some people who came from Sussex who've been twice a weekend in a row. We've had a lady who's just moved here from Bermuda, who's utterly amazing. We've even had Lady Victoria Harvey, who's been on the tour. We've had a gentleman who just got out of prison. We've had a BBC producer. We've had music producers. We've had local famous faces. We've had people from all over the world. It's a great mixture of people, and you get to meet people, and it's interactive, and then you get to have a drink with them afterwards. So it's not like your normal sort of, tourist activity. This is civilized, and it's very pleasant. So, no, I didn't have John Burko, so no. What's my thoughts on the James Blunt scandal? I don't think there is a James Blunt scandal. I think perhaps these people all got it wrong. So no, I don't know about that. Um, you don't like Gordon Ramsay? Well, um, he's nothing to do with it either. Um, what's my opinion on Count Binface? Well, the man has made a grave impact on electoral decision making. He's been very successful, hasn't he? So one has to salute him for his success. So well done to him. I did try to correspond with him many years ago, but we never got anywhere. He doesn't correspond with most people. He doesn't correspond even with the Sunday Times. So he wasn't hardly going to correspond with me. So I think we need to forget about Count Binface's political interactions because unfortunately, I think he's a bit amongst his own opinions and he's entitled to it. Of course, before he became Count Binface, he was called Lord Buckethead and and there've been multiple incarnations. He wasn't the first to use all of this. He was a multiple follower on, but of course he's a comedian and anyway, that's what you need to look into. He has his own reasons for doing this. I cannot possibly tell you why he wishes to do this, but that's his choice, isn't it? Anyway, well, you'd like wouldn't it be great to actually meet Matthew Steeples at the bar one day when he's ranting about toe rags and stains on humanities? Says Natalia to her husband. Well, there you go. You can meet me if you wish to, but that's your own choice. If you wish to meet me, that's up to you. Right. Lots of good investigations on Sean Atwood. I don't know what we're looking into with Sean Atwood, but Sean Atwood does lots of programs and he's entitled to make lots of programs. And he's a very nice gentleman who I do know. And I'm not sure which particular programs you're referring to. So here we go. Anyway, here we are. We've got our little friend here. Here's the little friend. First time joining in for the evening. So there we are. So, right, he's been found guilty of domestic abuse. So I don't know what's happened to this man, Mr. English. I cannot comment on his case because I don't have anything in front of me. So on this occasion, I shall keep quiet until I have more evidence in front of me. And I shall leave it at that. But yes, our dinners are held at PJ's in Chelsea, says Mrs. Hensley. Yes, Mrs. Hensley is a regular at our dinners. Mrs. Hensley, do you enjoy coming to our dinners? Do you think they're enjoyable? Have you met some nice people there? Do you meet a mixture of people there, perhaps, or whatever? Whatever Mrs. Hensley wishes to say, it would be nice if she say something. But thank you. Adam Forbes wishes to attend. Thank you. And no, thank you to you all for your general support. But I think there's nearly 100 of you, around about 100 of you here now. So we've got plenty of people to talk to. Lady Chelsea says, I miss Lady Min. Well, I'm afraid, we're 3 days away from the anniversary of the death of Min. And may Min's rest in peace. So I don't think I can say much more other than that at this stage. But we'll do a little video in due course and remind people of her wonderful input into this channel. Okay, she said some pretty awful things. She said some pretty wonderful things. She gave a mixture of delight and disaster. But thank you very much for reminding us of her memory. Right. Okay. Well, will I be the next James Bond? No. Why would I be the next James Bond? That would be totally unsuitable. I'm not even in the league of someone suitable to be that, given I'm not even an actor. So, no, not going to happen. But anyway, Thank you to Steve 007 for suggesting that I could be a James Bond. That is a bit of a wild suggestion, but you know, wilder things have happened, but not on this watch, I'm afraid. What's my views on the Graham Dot scandal? Asks Ross. Ross, could I ask you back? Who is Graham Dot? I have utterly no idea who you're talking about. I don't know Graham Dot, never heard of Graham Dot. I'm terribly sorry. Maybe I'm being naive and stupid, but Graham Dot, he hasn't got a dot in my copybook. So I'm afraid to say, my little notebook here, Graham Dot didn't make it. So please tell me who Graham Dot is. Does anyone else know who Graham Dot is here? Because I'm maybe going a bit dotty, because maybe I'm so stupid. I don't know who these people are, but I don't know who Graham Dot is. Right. Well, you want to raise a glass to Lady Min. Thank you. Love the little friend. And cheers to Mrs. Helmsley. Yes. Well, right. Okay. We're getting best wishes from Australia. Have I any take on Dolly Parton? Well, before we get going on our main program, I suppose I should say, yes, poor old Dolly Parton, what an amazing lady she was. She added colour and vibrancy to the world. I never met Dolly Parton. She's not a friend of mine. She's not somebody I ever knew. But what an amazing lady she was. She added colour and vibrancy. Absolutely fantastic. But I cannot say anything that the mainstream media haven't said that would add anything to the story, given I do not know her personally. I think the Marshall Mathers, the Eminem, he kind of summed it all up quite nicely with his little letter. I thought that was a lovely letter. I don't know if you have read his letter, but you should have a read of that. But I'm not an expert on her career. I don't know about her past, her present, well, no longer present. But I will say she was somebody who added vibrancy to the world. Now, Graham Dot is a former snooker world champion who was convicted of offences on Monday, says Ross. I did not know Mr. Dot, so I can't really comment on his case. So I haven't read of his case. So I'm afraid on this one occasion I cannot comment. But yes, if he's a wrong un, he's a wrong un. And he has been convicted, and if this Mr. English has been convicted, these people deserve the full force of the law. Let's have the whole lot of them dealt with in the manner that needs to be done. But I can't speak on cases that I do not personally know, because it would be incorrect of me to talk about something where I have no expertise. Right. Right. I would be a great Bond villain. I could have a gun for an arm. Right. Well, I'm not going to be a Bond villain, but I did meet plenty of the Broccoli family and all the others, but I'm no expert on Bond. I'm not the world expert. Of course, I have a friend who is George Lazenby's agent, who came to one of my dinners with Stephen Burkhoff. We did a lovely dinner with him, and he came all the way from Sweden. And people are very passionate about James Bond. It's a fabulous thing to be involved in. It's a fabulous story. So, if you are interested in James Bond, yeah, I do know a lot of things about James Bond, but I cannot claim to be any kind of expert. Mrs. Hensley loved Tim Curry and Brideshead Revisited. She's changing the topic. Um, Adam Forbes adds Tim Curry was a fabulous actor. So I believe that poor Tim Curry died. So, yes, but I didn't know him either. So I can't comment on him. So, Rocky Horror Show, yes. So, have we any more questions on that front? Otherwise, I might start talking about something. Um, right. Well, I think our first topic of the evening has to be Meghan Markle and her husband, Prince Harry, or the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as they should be properly referenced, even though they are lowbrow losers. These two creeps are coming back to Britain. Whether we want them or not, they have landed. They supposedly landed near Birmingham. They are supposedly going to live in the Cotswolds. I can tell you exclusively that I believe they are living in a home which is 11,000 square foot. I'm not going to give away too much because I've had all sorts of weird messages from the owners of this, former owners, I reckon, of this property, which is 18 miles from Oxford. I believe they are living in a house that was for sale for 4.25 million in 2017. I believe it was for sale for 3.45 million in 2019. I believe that the planning permission was sought to build a swimming pool and a gym and a tennis court and an annex was sought for this very house. You won't hear this anywhere else. I know this information. In 2022, this is a house that is probably her idea of her attempt at Highgrove. It's a house where she thinks she can show off, and I think this is where she plans to live because I wrote about said house a number of years ago, and I will tell you that this house is most likely the place they plan to live. I believe that the person who has been writing to me has been representing them for years. They've always had an intention to come back to Britain. Without a doubt, true. He never wanted to leave. She wanted to leave. This is Meghan at her worst. Mendacious Meghan is a meddler. She's a disruptor. She's not to be trusted. And as I've said, there is a house that is 18 miles away from Oxford. That is where I think they will be living. And nobody knows the address. It has been written about by Country Life, the Daily Mail, and the Steeple Times. I cannot name it because I don't think it would be correct until it's provable. But I've been getting weird messages concerning this particular address. So I do think this address is highly likely to be the address. Now, I could be 100% wrong. Give me nothing but the truth here to say. I will say I could be completely wrong. I'm not going to stand here and tell you I'm 100% sure, but I get very weird messages about this particular address, and I have been doing for many a month. And all of a sudden, they land in Birmingham, which is not too far from where this place is. And this house, 11,000 square foot house, it rather fits the bill. This is something that makes sense. So, mark my words, have a look at the parasites. Beth thinks they're living in a two-bedroom semi in Birmingham. Well, I don't think they are, but um, are they sharing it with Prince Andrew and Fergie? I don't know. Lucas, my friend from America, says, I get the sensation they want to, it's waned and they were retreating to the UK. Well, yeah, you might say that, Lucas, but you don't realize the hatred that they've caused here because of their bad behavior. Their behavior has been rotten and wrong, and they've upset things. Right. Oh, Amanda says we've taken a deep breath. We've heard a rumble from the jungle. They've been sent to Coventry. Well, oh dear. But no, what I tell you is the truth. I do believe they have been sent to live. Well, they haven't been sent to live. They have chosen to buy a certain place, but it was done probably quite a long time ago. And this is a gradual transfer of power. So they will have to work out what they're doing. These two are mendacious, they are disgusting, they have no respect for anyone. He is an absolute piece of toe rag. So, okay, why do I say that? Why don't I like them? Okay, well, I don't like them. You know, hashtag regrets it, as I called it on this announcement, or spare returns. His stupid book that was disgusting, where he talks about Dodger cream and all the other disgusting things he did. He is a lowbrow loser. But I asked my viewers, I did a poll, and 426 people, I think, replied. Why are the dim-witted, drippy dunce Prince Harry and his mendacious, meddling, menaced wife, Meghan Markle, actually returning to once Great Britain? 3.3% said for the children's education. 3.8% said because they love the UK. Surprised that actually came second. I thought that would have come last. The next was to get divorced, 16%. And the winner chicken dinner, of course, went to run away from the tax bill. I do believe that they owe a lot of money to the IRS because of their Netflix ventures and their other ventures. They haven't explained themselves. There is, of course, the visa issue as well on top of that, but I do think it's more to do with the IRS. And Samantha Markle has been in touch with me to say exactly that. So, Dirty Harry is, he's somebody who should pay his tax bills. So, let's be having you. They should have arrested them before they got out, but it seems they've already got out. So they announced this after they got out. It seems that his brother doesn't know. His father only knew later. It's all a little bit weird, isn't it? How did this Dirty Harry get to Britain? Precisely. The comments here are very, very bad. We're getting lots of bad comments about his tax evasion, mortgage foreclosures, visas revoked, credit card debts. Your choice, says the Thrashing Grapes. There we go. Ginger hate is the oldest, says Richie Dupe, who's a supporter, clearly. And Lucas Witherspoon adds, I know that the intense dislike that is pervasive in the UK concerning them. I was just giving an American perspective. Well, you're entitled to give your perspective, my friend, and we love you very much. We love alternative perspectives here, so don't stop giving your perspective. We want all the perspectives in the world, so carry on, please do. It doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with you, but you are entitled to say whatever you wish. We don't mind having this. We can have the views of everybody on this channel. This channel is not about negativity against anybody. So if you think that Meghan Markle is an international treasure, please come out there. Please say it to me now. If you love Omid Scooby, and you want to Scooby up whatever, you're very welcome. If you want to say that Prince Harry is a hero, please do, but I don't think many of you will. You're entitled to do that. We love a mixture of opinions. So let's have the ginger beard and whatever else is one of you just called them. Whatever, but entirely. Dan Wootton says the king betrayed Britain over Harry and Meghan 6 days ago, says Terry Abbott. Dan Wootton is the biggest prat on the planet. Dan Wootton has no place in any respectable circle. Dan Wootton is a pillock and a prat. So I don't care what he thinks. Couldn't give a damn what he has to say. But he's entitled to his view, but he can shove it up his own stinking jumper. He's not a very pleasant gentleman. He isn't a gentleman at all. He's scum and detritus. Absolutely horrible. He picked on Susan Boyle. What a revolting man. What a piece of toe rag. Awful, awful, awful. No good with him. So, right, where will they live? Asks Mr. Balding. I've already answered the question. I've told you within 18 miles of Oxford, I believe. Now, I could be completely wrong, but that is my analysis. So, refer back to earlier in this video. King Charles is great, says Steve. I agree with you. I like King Charles. I think he's doing a good job. I know many people here will say, oh no, we don't like him. He's a Muslim and all this nonsense. Whatever you want to say. If you don't like King Charles, you're entitled to your view. That is how the world works. We all have differing views. Obviously, people like the lady on the internet who has a channel. She calls herself something or other. And she has a view about this, and she doesn't like King Charles. But I don't think King Charles is doing that bad a job. He has a wonderful wife who does wonderful things with book clubs. I salute Queen Camilla. I like Queen Camilla very much. I know many of you probably won't, but I think she's a good person. So I'm entitled to my view, and it doesn't matter whether you think differently, but I'm entitled to my view on that. So, okay. Right. Amanda says, if I were to come for said dinner, which reasonable hotel would I suggest that would not break the bank? Okay. Well, Amanda would like to come to stay, to come to a dinner. And yes, we can arrange preferable rates with a hotel, I'm sure, Amanda. So I would be happy to try and help you organize that. And it would be, somewhere sensible in the locality that could be good. So it'd be wonderful to have you along to attend. And of course, we want everybody to enjoy themselves and join in with us. So now, coming back to the topic, Prince Harry and his wife, they have other issues. Obviously, there's the matter of the drugs. He couldn't get away with a visa with the drugs issue. He admits in the book to taking drugs. So that's a problem. There's obviously the thing he goes on about the Taliban threat. security. He killed 25 people of Taliban. He wants to get free security. That's what he's up to. This filthy piece of toe rag is after a freebie and he's after being looked after. But, he cannot get that in America. They're not going to give him free security. He's a rotten wrong'un. So, accept that. He isn't a kind-hearted man who cares about his country. He is using this as a vehicle to try and get whatever he can. And equally, we've got the matter of what is the cost of protecting him? The cost of protecting him, if he gets the government to give him the protection, will be another 5 million a year of you, the taxpayers' money. Why should you, the taxpayer, pay 5 million to protect Prince Harry? What justifies that? What is right in the world about that? Now, where is Mrs. Hensley? Let's have an opinion from you. Let's have an opinion from anyone else. Do you think it is right for Prince Harry to be awarded £5 million? The Blue Nomad says, scroungers, yes. Steve says, tell them to bog off. Yeah, precisely. I agree with you. Right. Well, Mark says, what a great show. What is your opinion on Diana Jenkins? Well, I don't know. They will say and do anything to get what they want, says Mrs. Hensley. So Mrs. Hensley is quite correct. I agree with her. Absolutely not, says Thrashy and Grapes. There we go. I don't know about Diana Jenkins, Mark, because I don't know who Diana Jenkins is. Perhaps I do, but it's not coming to my mind, so you'll have to remind me. People naming things that I don't think about. There we go. So what I would add is, what about the legal costs? Who's paying David Sherborne? Who's paying Orange Sherbet? In this case, we have Orange Sherbet. He is called David Sherborne. He is a barrister, but he is not a KC because he's never been elevated. He has been a barrister for lots of people. He gets himself involved in every famous case. I first encountered him because I knew this man called James Stunt. Mr. Stunt had employed him to do with phone hacking, of course, also. But Mr. Stunt was unable to proceed with his case because Mr. Stunt faced a bankruptcy matter and also a court hearing. And though he was completely exonerated in both court hearings, he has never been able to proceed with his matter against the Daily Mail. Now, I will say that the Daily Mail brought a brilliant case. Well done to the Daily Mail. I stand with the Daily Mail against these people. I think it is disgusting that Doreen Lawrence, Saint Doreen, who the Daily Mail helped, and the likes of the toe rag, Liz Hurley, that awful, awful woman, dreadful. The loser, Sadie Frost, allowed, drugs in a nightclub, basically problem. You name it with these people. Simon Hughes, failed politician. And of course, the wickedest of the two, other than Prince Harry, Elton and David Furnitureless. two pieces of scum of the first order. It is amazing that these revolting people were able to bring a court case with the help of orange sherbet that has resulted in a bill so large that has shamed them. And well done to the Daily Mail for their victory. I salute you, the Daily Mail, for your victory over these awful, awful people. You are the most rotten people. Now, I'm not saying the Daily Mail gets everything right. In many cases, you don't get things right, the Daily Mail. And I am not saying I agree with everything the Daily Mail does, but in this instance, these people, every one of them, wanted publicity when it suited them. And then when it didn't, they cried. How pathetic are these people? Sadie Frost, Doreen Lawrence, all of them. Liz Hurley, David Furnish, Elton John, Prince Harry. What a bunch of losers all of them are. They are terrible, terrible people. As Mrs. Hensley says, they aren't the brightest bulbs in the box. This has nothing to do with Jack the Ripper, as someone is suggesting. This has to do with the dodgy Sussex squad. They are awful, awful people, the whole lot of them. Elton John hates the press. He hates it. But if Elton John hadn't had the press, well, he wouldn't exist, would he? He'd be a nobody. He'd be a total loser. So why does this man whinge and whine like a pathetic little baby? He is ridiculous. Elton John is completely ghastly. But you, the public, will never hear this because he is considered a national treasure. He will be loved forevermore. Even after his death, you will all love him. He won't be going away. Other ones of his type will be thrown under the bus, but he won't. So there we go. That is the world of Elton John. So that's what I have to say about him. So meanwhile, good riddance to Harry and Meghan, says the people of Montecito, but I think the people of Oxfordshire say thank you, but no. So, have we any questions specifically about Meghan and Harry's arrival in, as we believe, in Oxfordshire, which is where we believe they will be living? Any specific questions? Right. Some people say Elton John is amazing. Well, you're entitled to that view. If you like him, fair enough. He's a very good performer. I won't take that away from him. He's a brilliant entertainer, but that doesn't mean he's a decent bloke. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I don't know how we're going to do my quiz because my supposed friend who's helping me has not reappeared. So we'll have to keep talking. So keep asking questions because I can't do the quiz until I get my quiz helper. I need a Debbie McGee. It would have been useful if Mrs. Hensley could come across the road, in fact. So there we go. Right. Elton is amazing. Right. Right. When are they leaving? Asked Mrs. Hensley. I don't know when they're leaving. They're arriving. So I don't think they're leaving yet, Mrs. Hensley. I think you perhaps got that one a bit wrong. They are arriving. Next question. They will live in Shropshire, says Aidan. Right. Well, there's your theory. You're entitled to a theory. Where can they escape to next? Asks Mrs. Hensley. Well, I do believe they won't be escaping anywhere. I think they're going to a specific address. I think we know what the address is, but I may be wrong. We'll see. Could be completely wrong. I am open to admit it. Right. Has Fergie given her opinion on the imminent arrival? Asks Mr. Balding. Sarah Ferguson hasn't given her opinion on anything. We don't know where she is. But if we want to talk for a bit further about a different topic, okay, well, obviously there is the startings of a Metropolitan Police investigation into the activities of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein in London. Today on the Today Show on Radio 4, Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister, talked about how he'd been involved with so much investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's activities in London. They never mention Ghislaine. Why don't you mention her? Pathetic, Gordon Brown. Mention her as well, because she was the one who brought him here. She is the one, along with the Leith family, who was first involved with him in Great Britain, once Great Britain. Shame on you, Gordon Brown. Gordon Brown, you're a coward for not mentioning that. He tries to make himself out to be some kind of crusading warrior who is helping the victims. No, don't believe it. The truth is this. It was Ghislaine Maxwell who engineered so much of what went on with Epstein in London. She controlled it from the 1990s. I am very, very involved currently talking to the BBC, Reuters, other people about this. I wrote about it in 2020. You can read what I wrote then. My article from 2020 tells the story of what I knew, and that is the truth of what I knew. Doesn't mean it's the truth, but it's what I knew from what I found out, and there it is. And I have to say, if you want facts, look into what I published, because now all of a sudden all these organizations are interested in what I said back in 2020. So Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, it is time to know why the Metropolitan Police did nothing to investigate these dodgy pair back in 1990s and the 2000s, whatever you believe it began. 1994. Obviously, there's a woman called Dean Honey who talks about how she introduced Jeffrey to London in 1971. We can go back a very, very long way. Definitely Jeffrey Epstein can go back to London in the 1980s, but I don't know whether that means he committed crimes at that time, but we can go back through all of this. Well, here we go. We're getting all sorts of comments. Ghislaine is not in prison. Well, yes, she is. She's in prison. Don't make things up. That's a load of nonsense. Um, have I met Andrew Mountbatten Windsor? No, I do not know him. I've met Sarah Ferguson. I've met the daughters. I've met Jack Brooks Bank, obviously, multiple times, and others. Right. Well, you're asking me questions. I'm prepared to answer your questions. Any more questions you want? Well, please go ahead. But I will say these are people who have told multiple untruths, and it's not particularly a good place to be. So, Mrs. Hensley believes that Ghislaine is in Israel sipping on champagne. Mrs. Hensley is completely wrong. I don't agree with her. I believe Ghislaine is very much in the prison, but we're all entitled to differing views. Right. Well, they all want to ask me questions about other things, but there we go. So let's stick to the topic. And Ghislaine is a very wicked woman. That is the truth. And Ghislaine has manipulated the entire scenario. And of course, that is why we are where we are now. So think of what comes next, and it's not a very pleasant place. That is what I say to you. That is the problematic area of this story. So thank you to those of you who've supported me thus far. Thank you to those who are joining this channel. We need more of you to join this channel and become members of this channel, or to support it via various means. You're very welcome to support us any way you can, whatever way you feel you're able, because I'm not able to keep doing all this stuff if I'm not supported, because one has to spend some money to get to these things. If you wish to support the channel via various things, and thank you to Tina, who says cheers. She's a member for 15 months. So thank you, Tina. That's very kind of Tina, who's a member, and thank you. But we need to have more supporters of this channel. You're very welcome to support us via the PayPal, the Ko-fi thing, or to come on our walking tours, or to come to our dinners. We welcome you to come to our events. We'd love to have more of you come along, but we do need some more supporters, and it would help us grow this whole thing if you supported us. So thank you to those of you supporting this channel. Support us via the PayPal. That's the easiest way. It's so easy, but it's all there in the description, and you can click a link and you can do it in 2 seconds. But we thank you all for your generosity, and we hope that a few more of you will join in with that. But anyway, thank you very much. And yes, we continue to highlight the corruption of the likes of Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and their activities in London. And of course, they lived in Belgravia. They had things in South Kensington. They were close to Buckingham Palace. There were plenty of locations where these nefarious activities were occurring. And we have highlighted them before anyone else. I did it before the Sunday Times, who, they brought up Manson Place. I brought up Stanhope Mews East in 2020. I was way ahead of them. So I'm not trying to brag about this or say that, it is important, but let's be honest. The truth of the matter is I highlight stories and they follow. And that's what the people I spoke to yesterday from another news organization I spoke with, who are coming to visit me about a different story said to me, how did you know this? And I said, well, research. People don't bother to do proper research anymore. And I keep emphasizing to you all, a fact is not a fact till you've checked as a fact, but do the bloody research. It's very easy to do research. Just do it. I don't know why people find it so hard to research information. True information is power, and we must all find the right information. And I'm just an idiot who sticks a pin in a needle, and I can, whatever. A haystack. I'm just somebody who finds things, and I'm able to do it. I don't know why other people can't do what I do. I find it very curious that other people don't know these facts, and then years later I get proven to be true. So it would be a good idea that more people bothered to do some research. Just do the research. I'm not saying I know anything more than anyone else, but there's plenty of information out there. You don't need to dig very deep. You can get whatever you want, but if you start digging, you dig more. It's like Seamus Heaney, the poet, said, I've got a pen and I'll dig with it. And that's what I do. I always will remember my inspirational school teacher, Dr. Thorne, who always used to say to me, Seamus Heaney and the pen and digging with it. And it did set me on a path. So thank you, Dr. Thorne, I say. Anyway, so what have we got next? Anyway, thank you to all of those who support this channel. If anyone wants to support this channel, we would appreciate it. It would be kind and appreciated. But anyway, have you any more questions on a different topic or whatever you want? So let's have a few more questions. Anything more? Anything more to be sure? Right, you want me to ask about Earl Spencer's book on Diana? I don't know anything about the book. I haven't read it, but I don't like him. I've no interest in him. Don't want to meet him. No interest. I'm sure many people will enjoy his book, but I don't know the man, and I think he's an apologist for his awful nephew, who I don't like, as you clearly realise. I don't like Prince Harry, and therefore I probably don't like him. But right, how do I manage to stay so lovely? I don't know if I am lovely. I'm just a person. I'm just myself. I don't believe I'm lovely at all, but I just keep being myself. But you probably think I'm an utter, but thank you for your support. So cheers to you. Well, I don't know what's happened to our friend, whether he will return, but there we go. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this quiz, because it's going to be very hard to do a quiz without a helper. So I would like to do a quiz with you, but we haven't quite got a way of doing it. Mrs. Hensley asks, where is Diana interned? Well, obviously at Althorp. She's on an island there, so that's where she is. So who will be the Debbie McGee for this quiz? At the moment, we don't have a Debbie McGee. We don't have anybody. This is rather unfortunate. And obviously, we don't have the mystery guest, because the mystery guest didn't really enjoy being involved last week, so we won't be having any more mystery guest. That's over. That's the easiest way of explaining the end of that. But we can continue without that. So the dogs. Well, the dogs are asleep on the floor, so they can't join in. And there we are. So right, okay. Well, any more questions? Right. Well, the other question of the person who hit me in France, well, he has apologized. But I won't mention him. Let's not go down that avenue, but we don't need to talk about that. That's the past. That's long finished. We don't need to go down that chapter. That's a long closed one. So I don't know where this one is. It's most unfortunate that I cannot ask him where he is, but he has disappeared. So I'm struggling to reach the next level on this particular one. Do I think Prince William has been betrayed by Charles about Harry and his sidekick? Asked Spoony Spooky. Well, I don't think it's a betrayal. No, I think it's just Prince Harry has engineered his way of doing what he wishes to do, and they've both had to fall in with what this individual is doing. You know, they don't know what's going to come next, and it's going to be a completely crazy situation. Well, Tina De Silva says she will keep the scores if we do a quiz, so we will do a quiz. We'll give this man a few minutes so he can appear, because it would be useful to have a quiz scorekeeper. I don't know where he is, but he may come back. Right. Tina De Silva is going to get a notepad. So what else interests you in the world? Have you any other topics? Something completely different. Give me a bit of sugar and spice and something nice or something not so nice. What have you got to say? Okay, right, next. Right, okay. Well, we don't know what we're going to do, but we need some input here. It looks likely we're going to have to do this myself with the help of the lovely Tina. So this is going to be a complicated affair because I don't think our friend will come back, but we can always begin. But anyway, thank you to everybody who supports this channel. Meanwhile, if you want to come on our walking tour, you can come on a walking tour. I could always do one tomorrow, or I could do one on Sunday. So if you'd like to do this, editorial at thesteepletimes.com. If you want something else, then please email and we'll get in touch and we'll figure out something. But let's work it out. Spoony Spooky would like to buy me a drink. Okay, well, my birthday was in January, but you're very welcome to send me a drink via the PayPal or whatever. That would be most helpful. We'd love a drink via PayPal. So thank you for your offer of a drink. That would be appreciated. We'd love that. What am I working on at the moment that I could tell us all about, says Mrs. Hensley. Well, Mrs. Hensley, today I ran into some people associated with a lady called Iris Bond. They live in the same building that Mrs. Bond lived in. And Mrs. Bond was the person, of course, who worked for Mohammed Fayed. So we're going to be exposing, as you know, Mrs. Hensley, a lady who it turned out was actually not a very nice lady. She was a wicked woman, Iris Bond. She was a terrible person. I don't know what you have to say, Mrs. Hensley, but what I will say is tonight I can reveal that a lady called Iris Bond worked for Mohammed Fayed, and she covered up for many of his terrible crimes, and she knew where everybody was buried. She is a terrible person, and she is dead, and you shouldn't speak ill of the dead, people say, but they've paid out 150 victims. 500 victims are supposedly going to be paid. Mrs. Bond was, frankly, one of the most awful people, along with Mrs. Buzziat and Mr. Cole. They were the worst of the people who enabled Fayed. And it's time that these people were dealt with and punished for their criminality. But Mrs. Bond, it's too late because she's dead. Her husband's dead. But her neighbours came to see me today, and they told me they didn't realise. They had no idea. They just thought she was a nice lady, and then they now know that she's wicked. And I'm afraid we all knew things, and we should have all spoken out much longer ago on the subject of Fayed. Fayed is the British Epstein. He is evil. He's a monster, and we must do more to highlight what he did, and we must get justice against his wicked brother who still lives. He has a brother still living. Bring him in. Arrest the bastard. That bastard needs to be dragged in and questioned. Let's have him brought in, because all three of them are wicked, named, alleged criminals. So let's have the living one brought in. Let's see justice for the Fayed victims. Let's have Fayed living brought before the law. That is what I want. I want to see him dragged in from Connecticut. Bring him in. It's time. What do you think, Mrs. Hensley? Do you think I'm right or wrong? Yes, and she says she was very clever at seeming like a nice person. She didn't say she was a nice person. Fooled a lot of people, precisely. But we need to now bring these people in. Dodi Fayed is nothing to do with this. This is not Dodi Fayed. This was his father and his brothers. Wicked people in that regard. I've no idea what Dodi Fayed did. No idea, but they're not exactly the most civilized family. I do know the younger children. I have met them. Again, not people who I would celebrate. Why was Diana involved with these people? Money. The Diana woman, who you all treat like a saint, she was very good at playing games herself. She was a manipulator. It didn't mean she needed to die a terrible death, but she wasn't the kindly soul that you all think she was. She wasn't Miss Innocent. Diana was somebody who knew how to play games. She was a game player. Let's be honest. That's the truth about her. Two-faced woman. I will not stand here and tell you that I liked Princess Diana. I think Princess Diana was a game-playing manipulator, and I was not a fan of Diana. So, sorry, not going to sit here and laud her as some, candle in the wind and all the rest of the old crap that, Elton John might spout. And he can go shove himself up his stinking jumper as well. Horrible, horrible little man. Right. Well, Do I ever shop at Harrods? Asks Mr. Balding. No, there's nothing to buy in Harrods. It's a sort of chain store place. It's weird. It used to be a nice shop. I used to go there. Yes, I will admit, but no, not anymore. Right. Well, some of you are supporting Diana. Of course you will, and I respect your right. So there we go. Right. Harrods is now bizarre. Products rent out spaces, says Mrs. Hensley. Nothing like it used to be. John Clifford says they must have known something years ago. They refused to give him a passport. Well, correct. Completely correct. So, yeah, there we go. We know that part of the story. So, there we go. Tina is a big supporter, obviously, of Diana and says she put up with a lot with Prince Charles. Hey Tigers says, I read something about the late Duke of Westminster. It says that the council honoured the agreement to house the working classes in certain properties and released the duchy to the council. Well, there we go. Well, that's a view. It's a different topic. Edwina Neal says, I bought the Harrods Beauty Advent Calendar. Well, that's a wonderful thing if you wanted to buy it. So I hope you enjoyed buying it. I don't know what to say. Harrods, oh, well, here we are. Do I have a will? Right, no, we've gone through all of this. So I'm guessing we may have to start doing this quiz without the assistant, because the assistant has vanished. Don't know where he is. We are having a problem locating said assistant. So don't know where he is. I may have to shout and yell, or I could send him a text message, I suppose. Here we are. Where are you? Let's be having you. I don't know. Maybe that's what we need to do. I am getting messages, so maybe that's him. Oh, right. Let me send him a message. I'll just send quiz, ? So please keep asking questions. Let's see if he answers. Don't know. Right. Well, we don't know if he's going to answer, but if he doesn't answer, we can do the quiz by ourselves, obviously. So here we go. This is yes, another experiment. Oh, he says that. Yes. Ah. Well, I don't know. Oh, well, he can come down shortly. Oh. Right, so we've got 5 minutes. Okay, so let's have. There we go. Let's have 5 minutes of questions. Okay, right. There we go. So 5 minutes of questions would be perfect. Okay, right. So there we go. Oh, there we are. So now you just need to keep going with all sorts of things. Warming up the fingers, says Hey Tiggers. Right. Anyway, cheers to you and cheers to me and cheers to me if we disagree. So we will keep going. Sorry, here I am just doing this on my own tonight. This is a bit weird. I do apologize for my late antics. Got to find a way to keep going on the old scores on the doors, missed doors, or whatever they say. So here we are, and we keep going. Tom Cruise has moved back to the USA, says Thrashing Grapes. The assistant is indisposed, asks Beth. Do I watch the Mark Dolan show on YouTube? I cannot say I watched the Mark Dolan show on YouTube, but I've heard of Mark Dolan but I do not watch his show. I don't watch any shows, to be honest. I will admit that I listen to Radio 4 and I read books. I'm stuck in another era. I'm afraid I'm a little out. You will all think that I'm a bit of a old weirdo who's a total loser because I don't engage with this modern world. I do things in the past, and I'm so old-fashioned that I perhaps am considered different and alternative to the point of weird. But there we go. Right. Well, he's on the GB News channel. I don't watch GB News. No, I don't do that. My friend here, whose home it is, he does sometimes have GB News on when I arrive, but it gets turned off, but not because I have a problem with it. I don't like the man called Ben Leo. He's a total twat. He's a total idiot. He's completely creepy, dreadful piece of rubbish who conned people I know. Don't trust him. He's a right wrong, awful person. I don't like him. I don't like Dan Wootton. He's a totally awful person, but I don't know what channel he's on. No idea. Whatever he goes on, I wouldn't watch it. I don't like many of these others, but I like to just listen to people who are sensible and wise and, just have some intelligence. And it's lovely to chat with intelligent people like yourselves. What am I drinking? Currently, I'm on the old cheap Waitrose wine. Nobody has sent me anything, so that's what I've got. I don't have anything else. It would be appreciated to have wonderful people on this channel, and we love to have the support of great people, and thank you. What else? Mike Graham. Yes, Mike Graham is the person I have met. I have met Mike Graham at a party with Liz Truss. I met Mike Graham with Liz Truss. I don't know Mr. Graham. I could not tell you much about him. He's a friend of my friend Peter Blexley. Mr. Blexley is a wonderful man. I will say Mr. Blexley is somebody who is to be celebrated. I can't tell you anything about Mr. Graham because I don't know much about him because I don't watch his programs. Right. Do I know that he thinks he knows how to grow concrete? I don't know what that means. I have no idea why you're asking me, and I have no idea. I can't answer that question. Do I follow Rob Shooter? He is a Sussex supporter, Rob Shooter. I'm afraid I can't tell you if I've never heard of Mr. Rob Shooter. I can't answer that question. Right. You get Peter on the channel. Yes. You want Peter on my channel. Yes. Well, Peter Blexley and I did a dinner together. He is a wonderful person. I think my quiz companion who has arrived is a big fan of Peter Blexley. I think many people I know are fans of Peter Blexley. He is one of our favorites. I'm not getting a response. Has the German lager gone? Asks Mrs. Hensley. I don't know what German lager we're talking about. Right. Anyway, condolences to the people of the UK for the arrival of the Sussex squad, says the Thracian Grapes. Nothing wrong with Waitrose Plonk, says Beth. Okay, well, let's move along with our questions, and we can do a little quiz. If I think our quiz assistant has arrived. Right. Okay. Well, you're all going on about my hair, and he had the nerve to arrive at Birmingham Airport. Well, obviously, 18 miles from Oxford Place, I can tell you. Boom. We have given you a revelation that has not been revealed on any other channel this evening, which is the likelihood that he is living in a certain house which has 3 stories. There you go, there's another clue. It's Cotswold Stone House. And it's 18 miles from Oxford, and it has a problem with bats. Now, the house currently has a problem with bats, and the bats are something you can look up. So, can you imagine a house having a problem with bats, and then you get Meghan Markle moving? That's like having bat shit moving. You don't really want to have Meghan Markle. I'd rather have the bats. The long-eared bats that were moving in are far preferable to Meghan Markle. So I've given you an awful lot of clues. Your clues, again, I'll give them you again. The house was sold for 4.25 million in 20. It was marketed for 4.25 million in 2017. It was again 3.45 million in 2019. It's 18 miles from Oxford. The long-eared brown bats were found there in 2020, and in 2022, somebody applied to build a swimming pool, gym, tennis court, annex, and it's 11,200 square feet. So I think you can work out where it is. And the people who own it, allegedly, they're not very happy with me for talking about it. So we do believe that this could possibly be the new home of Meghan and has been. So anyway, there we go. Anyway, we're going to do our quiz. Are you ready for a quiz? Would you like a quiz? Are you ready for a quiz? Bats on the outside, batty on the inside, says Mrs. Hensley. Mrs. Hensley's little friend is here now. He's saluting Mrs. Hensley. Yes, he's her neighbour. He lives across the road. But anyway, there we go. We've got... Right. Right. Well, which architectural style? Well, anyway, we're moving forward to a quiz, Mrs. Hensley. And thank you for the lager. Yes, we love your lager, but I haven't tried your lager yet. But that wasn't being rude. It was just trying not to talk about it. But anyway, next question. Let's move along. So, the first question in our quiz, and we have our little assistant here, is what is the primary business one would associate Grace Dent with? What would you associate Grace Dent with? A woman called Grace Dent. She's not Cilla Black. No. She's not Marbles. Edwina Neal says food critic. Okay, we can accept from Edwina Neal. The first point goes to Edwina Neal. She's the Evening Standard magazine, the host of MasterChef. She refers to herself in the third person on Instagram. Isn't that a bit pompous? What do you think, Mrs. Hensley? Do you like Grace Dent, Mrs. Hensley, or not? Let's see if Hey Tigers likes Grace Dent or not. I don't know whether the quiz assistant likes Mrs. Grace Dent or not. He goes 50-50. He gives her a 50-50. I think she's a bit up her own jumper, but there we go. So anyway, we've given a point to Edwina, and the next question is, in July 2026, what type of fish, breaking the record for the biggest fish caught by a child, did a 14-year-old Henry Ralph land on a beach near Oban in Scotland? What kind of fish did he land? It was not a tuna or a trout. I don't think you can have a tuna. Well, no, sounds stupid. It wasn't salmon. It wasn't trout. It wasn't cod. It wasn't a pike. No, it would be a pike, but it was skate. So cash, Amarie, cash Amarie. You don't need to spell it correctly, Quizmaster. Cash Amarie gets it with skate. Of course, it was £195. It took 2 hours to land. It was supersized and it was returned to the waters. So there you go. What a nice little child that he caught a fish and he put it back in the water. What a generous little boy. How lovely. Next question. In which year, at the age of just 6, did the chef Anton Bourdain take his own? Sorry, 61. At which age, just 61, did the chef Anton Bourdain take his own life? Which year did he take his life? At Le Chambord Hotel in France. It was not 2022 or 2012. Kashmiri gets it again with 2018. 2 points to Kashmiri. Yes, he killed himself. Suicide by hanging. He was an erudite to brilliantly slangy chef. He was into profanity, said Nigella Lawson. He had many sexual references. Anyway, that's him. At which temperature in degrees Celsius can visitors to the Titanic Belfast Museum submerge their hands to experience the temperatures that those entered the ocean on the night of the sinking of the RMS Titanic? What degrees centigrade they were able to submerge their hands in? It's not -10, it's not -11, it's not -1. It's not -4. It's not 5, it's not 14. It's not 3 or 8. It's not -43 or 0. It's not 17. Rosebud Ami gets it with -2. -2 degrees is the temperature that those Rosebud Ami. Right, so Rosebud has got a point. Can you imagine going into those icy waters and to the memories of the 1,200 people who died on that boat? You know I talk about the Titanic an awful lot. I am a bit of a Titanic geek, let's be honest. Right, so next question. The next question is, what was the birth Christian name of the actor Kit Harington, and a name chosen by his mother that connects him to the Elizabethan playwright Marlowe? What was the birth Christian name of the actor Kit Harington, and a name chosen by his mother that connects him to the Elizabethan playwright Marlowe? It was not Rosebud. It wasn't Joseph or Chet. It wasn't Joseph, no. It wasn't Catherine, no. He's a man, not a woman. It's not Philip. It connects him to Marlowe. Think of Marlowe. It wasn't Matthew, no, or Henry, or William or Martin. Gosh, I gave the biggest. I thought this was the stupidest clue. I gave the easiest clue in the thing. But Audrey M gets the point straight away. Audrey, well done. The answer is Christopher. It is, of course, Christopher Marlowe. Of course, he was born in 1986. His father is a baronet. He was in the Game of Thrones. He only found out what his name was Christopher when he was 11. He's a Man United fan. He's an alcoholic. He's got an ADHD, anxiety. He was in the industry. He played Jon Snow. He said, "I've got a weird bond with horses." And his ancestor, of course, was Sir John Harrington, who invented the flush lavatory. There you go. He is he descends from the man who invented the lavatory, Kit Harington. There you go. Did you ever know that? Kit Harington is associated with the Thomas Crapper, the bog, the lavatory, the toilet, if you wish to use the ghastly word for it. So there you go. There's a bit of education for you. So, next question. Right. So, for which British channel was Kate Adie chief news correspondent for between 1989 and 2003? Kate Adie, which channel was she? Not Channel 4. Edwina Neal says BBC One. I suppose I can accept BBC One, that it was BBC News. So we'll accept Edwina Neal. It was BBC. So we have to be more specific. It has to be the exact answer in future. So we will be a little more specific. But she was the chief news correspondent from 1989 to 2003. She was the war reporter, the Gulf War, Libya. She got shot in Libya. She got shot in Iraq. People said when she arrived at the airport, it was the time to get out of there. When she was seen arriving, leave. She wasn't a very popular person when she arrived, because when she arrived, everyone knew it was going to be a war zone. What a brilliant reporter she is, and what an amazing lady. And one should salute people like her for her courage and tenacity. What an amazing, wonderful person. So in life, we must salute good people as much as we criticize the baddies. And that's something we must say. So thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel. That's very kind of you. And all the rest of it, and joining in with all of this. We continue to call out the good and the bad, but we're not quite in the league of Kate Adie. Anyway, next question. Right. So, in how many thousand acres does the royal residence of Sandringham House, once dubbed the most comfortable house in England by Earl Carrington, stand in an estate of? What is the size of the Sandringham estate? How many thousand acres? It's not 15,000, no. It's not 80,000, no. Oh, here we are. We're getting a little visitor. Here you are, joining in. Here we are. We want to join in. So we've got an answer of 20,000 from Steve 007. Steve. So thank you to Steve. So Steve is getting that point. But we're getting a little visitor. Hello. Well, here we go. Here we are. Look. Lovely doggy. Cutie. Oh, well, right. Well, the lovely doggy has to have something to reward it for turning up. Sorry for the interruption of the quiz, but here we go. There you go. You're joining in with a quiz. Now, lovely doggy wants something else, I think. I can't really do much other than give the lovely doggy more. So I think we're going to have to carry on with the quiz. Yes, I think lovely doggy is trying to manipulate the quiz questions. So we can't carry on with that. But right, the next question is, as of August 2026, at the age of 116 and born on the 21st of August 1909, in which country was Ethel Caterham the world's oldest living person born? Which country was the world's oldest person born? It wasn't Wales. No, Sarah Havison says it England. Correct. Sarah Havison or Havison gets it with England. She was born in Lightwater, Surrey, and is the last surviving subject of King Edward the Seventh. Okay, and then my next question, similar topic. As of August 2026, in which country was the oldest recorded living person who died at the age of 122 years and 164 days on the 4th of August 1997, born and died in France? Well, we got the first person to get the answer was Sarah with France, of course. Her name was Jeannie Louise Calment, born in 1875, outlived her daughter and her grandson, married her second cousin. He died on her 36th birthday. She smoked, she ate chocolate, boom. Anyway, Sarah Havison. We've got a winner here, have we?
No.
Nope. Right, we're moving along with this quiz. So, okay, in August 2026, what did Wetherspoons ban in their 792 pubs? Two options. I'll accept either. It wasn't speaking. It wasn't phones. It was phones on speaker, says Sarah Havison, so she can have another point. So you're being very clever. No, they banned loudspeakers and calls and videos. They've also banned in the past meta-speaking eyeglasses, dogs, social media, European alcohol brands. There's no champagne allowed, for example. They don't like parents with children to have more than 2 drinks. They ban everything in Wetherspoons. They're rather... I think this lovely little dog here is joining in. I don't think you want to go to a Wetherspoons. No, there we go. There we go. We don't like Wetherspoons. I'm sorry, we've got the wrong angle. I think our little friend doesn't like Wetherspoons either. So our next question is, in which year was the original version of Donald, Where's Your Trousers issued as a single by Andy Stewart? Which year was Donald, Where's Your Trousers? No, not Danny. Donald.
You sent me this answer.
We've got answers of 1956, 1964, 1956, 1975, 1962, 1980, 1958, and 1960 from Audrey M, who gets the point. Well done to Audrey. Audrey gets another second point. Of course, it was Donald, where's your trousers? I came down from the Isle of Skye, all the lassies say aye, aye. Donald, where's your trousers and all that. So we all know that. But it was 37 in the UK singles charts. It was written in 10 minutes whilst he sat on the bog. He was trouserless, of course. And in Scotland, of course, they sang it at the 2026 World Cup as their favourite song. So, Donald, where's your trousers? So if you want to find a lovely song to sing along to tonight, it's Donald, where's your trousers? It's better than Cilla Black, after all. Nobody wants any of her. Nobody needs her. She needs to be told to bog off. So Peter Mandelson, where's your trousers, says ghetto gothic. I think our friend Ghetto Gothic makes a very valid point. I don't think anyone wants to see Peter Mandelson in his undercrackers, or even that awful MP Chris Bryant, who was posing on the Gaydar website in his underpants. I don't think we need to see politicians in their underpants. But Donald, where was his trousers? Well, we don't know who Donald really was, but anyway, Donald provided amusement, but we don't need anyone else. So good old Donald. Don't we agree? We like Donald and his trousers. The homeless gentleman round the corner, he has been given some new trousers, but unfortunately he doesn't seem capable of pulling them up, which is a little unfortunate for the neighbourhood. But anyway, he's at least trying, and he's anyway. We'll come to him at a different matter later, but I hope you will all support him. If you pass him by, please leave him a nice gift, because he's a nice gentleman and he's doing no harm to anyone. So please support him, and please support other homeless people in your neighbourhood if you come across them, because it could all happen to any of us. We could all reach whatever situation. So support anyone around you who needs help, because you never know where you're going to end up tomorrow. So be kind to those people. We don't need the hashtag be kind. Just actually bother to be kind. That's much better. Right. So the next question. Right. Okay. In which year in Moulton, Yorkshire, did Hannah Glasse, spelt Glasse, publish the first known recipe for a Yorkshire pudding? I'm sure many of you love a Yorkshire pudding. What year was the first known recipe for a Yorkshire pudding? It's not Fayed, where's your trousers? Fayed would have just ripped off people's trousers. He was a very wicked man. But right, it wasn't 1746, 1923, or 1863, or 1841, or 1885. It wasn't 1730. No, none of you are close yet. We'll let you keep going. Come on, more answers. It wasn't 1568, 1655, 1917, 1690, 1937, 1901, or 1900. It wasn't 1740. Tina De Silva wants to know higher or lower. TMTB says 1759. It's not lower, it's higher. It's not 1756, though. It's not 1890. It's not 1926. It's not 1973 or 610 BC. It's not 1912. It's not, I think she stole it off Mrs. Beeton. It's not, it was in a recipe book stolen from Mrs. Beeton, or 1747, 1761, 1850. I sound like an auctioneer now. It's 1789, 1765, Aunt Bessie, 1600, 1788, 1910, 1945, stolen from Aunt Bessie, 1888. I am really starting to sound like an auctioneer. You are training me in the art of what I've always wanted to do. I'd love to have been an auctioneer because I don't know how they did away with it. And I'd love to have that little hammer and bang it down. We were meant to have a bell for this quiz, but my friend lost it. So there we go. Anyway, you're getting close. The one who gets closest, we've got to get a bit closer. Okay. Hey Tigers is getting very close with 1785. So the next one who gets closest to 1785, let's go close. Well, Audrey has offered 1747, which is vaguely close, and Cheryl has offered 1799, which is vaguely close. Right. So Richie Dupe can have it though with 1784. Let's give it to Richie Dupe. The answer is 1747. It was known. Right, what am I going to say here? Oh, God, I can't even read my own useless writing. It was previously known as a dripping pudding because it was cooked beneath the roasting meat so as to catch the melting fat. And it featured in The Art of Cookery Made Plain and Easy by said author. There you go. That's how the Yorkshire pudding came about. I don't know if you like Yorkshire puddings, but that was the truth of a Yorkshire pudding. Okay, what is the nickname of Bournemouth AFC supporters? What is the nickname of the Bournemouth supporters? Steve gets it with the cherries. Our person in the background gets it, but he's the scorer, so we can't have scorers winning points. We're not having that cheating anymore. We used to allow that with the mystery guests, and that was a bit cheating. We can't have cheating. No cheating allowed here anymore. Right, next question. Of course, they were nicknamed cherries because of the cherry red stained shirt and because the Dean Court estate had many cherry trees where their football ground is located. Who wrote the dictator-style lifestyles of the world's most colourful despots, and with Anne Barr co-wrote the official Sloane Ranger Handbook in 1982? Who wrote this? He came on my tour on Sunday. He also came on another tour on another evening. It wasn't Anna Winter and it wasn't Foxy Noxy. It wasn't No Clue. It wasn't Gok Wan. And the Kashmiri gets it with Peter York, who, of course, was born Peter Wales, 1980s icon, of course. There you go. It was not Christopher Biggins, no. Right. With which country are the Hutch Gang and the Kinahan cartel primarily associated? The Hutch Gang and the Kinahan cartel, which country? Elaine Harvey gets the point with Ireland. Elaine Harvey. How long is the River Tyne in miles? The final 14 miles are tidal, and it covers an area of 1,134 square miles. How long is it? It's not 276 or 30 or 53. It's not 40 or 7. It's not quite long, and it's not Donaire. Though Donaire was in Byker Grove, which of course associates with the River Tyne, and Biker Grove and Bog on the Tyne, but it's not 120 or 185. Your questions are favoring Steve. Are my questions favoring Steve? Yes. Do I favor Steve in the questions? Can you tell by the point winning?
He's got 2 points.
Steve has 2 points. Has the questions favored him?
No.
He isn't winning, so no, the questions are not favoring Steve, Daisy, whatever your name is. It's not long enough. 28.70. Well, Candy is close with 70. Audrey is close with 70. William says 98. Hey Tiggers says 97. If we get someone who comes close, Audrey now says 72. Let's give Audrey the point. It's 73. So you say 72. I'm favoring questions. Steve, you are a bad man. Oh, well, Steve is being... we're not favoring anybody in our questions because I don't even know who's winning. I haven't got a clue. I just read out the thing. Here we are. We have our little friend here coming in another way. Come on. Here we are. Oh, good Lord. We're getting visitors coming in a different... We got this one here. There you go. You can see, oh my gosh. We're getting visitors coming in different ways. I know, this all looks a bit bizarre. It now looks like I'm running a zoo. There we are. We've got dogs wandering around. Anyway, on to the next question. Right. Oh, well, here we are. There you go. So the next question is this. Right. Right. They've done that. On the 8th of August 1969, on what type of crossing did the Beatles pose for their cover photo for Abbey Road? What type of crossing was it? It wasn't a Peckham crossing. TMTB gets it with zebra. The zebra crossing, or the zebra, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't a Peckham crossing. I've never heard of a Peckham crossing before, but that's a new one. Oh, now we are climbing up here. Oh dear, we are... I think we may have to go backwards here. We've got a problem. Oh, no, don't do it. Don't go up there. I think we might have to put more dog treats on the table over here. We may have a problem. But look, here we are. I think we have somebody who's hungry, and this is turning into an episode of trouble. I gave you one as well, but you didn't want one. Okay, next question. I have to focus on my questions. So, next question has to be right. What does shag mean in Cornish slang? What is a shag in Cornish slang? In Cornish slang, what is shag? We're not talking about sexual things in other words. It does not mean the offensive word. No, you're all getting it wrong. It's not a rug. It's not a carpet. It's not an LOL. It's not a tobacco or a mate. No, you are correct. It's a friendly way to address a mate. Okay, I can accept. No, shag means mate. So we can accept the person who said mate. The first person to say mate was The first person to say mate was Audrey. So there you go, a friendly way to address a mate. So, right, well, that's a shag. Right, the next question is, named after sailor Sir Francis Drake, how many acres in size is the fortified Drake's Island in Plymouth Sound? In acres. How many acres is the Drake's Island? It's currently for sale. It's not my haircut, no. It's not 10. Steve says 6. I think Steve can have the point because it's 6.4 acres, so you're pretty close. You clearly did it without using AI because you were quick. It's currently for sale for £2 million. It's got 30,000 square foot of disused buildings and a hotel that could be built. It's 500 meters from the mainland. It was obviously taken over by schoolboys and anti-nuclear weapon campaigners for peaceful camps and all sorts of things. It was sold for £6 million in 2019, so it's very cheap right now. If you want to buy it, you could have Sir Francis Drake's Island, but there you go. In which year was Paris Hilton jailed for 23 days? Which year was she jailed for 23 days? It wasn't 1996, no, or 2003 or 2006. Audrey gets it with 2007. It was June 2007. She was held at the Century Regional Detention Facility at Linwood, California, reckless driving, and she'd broken a 36-month sentence that she'd meant to have served. Okay, what does the acronym BRG stand for? Your final question. BRG. What does BRG stand for? BRG. Not be right back. Did we award the point for Paris Hilton? Mm-hmm. Did we award an point?
No, who was it that got the point, sorry?
Oh. Well, the point was given to Audrey.
Oh, no, she did get the point, yes.
Yes. The acronym BRG. It's not Be Right Gay, Bad Rotten Guess. It's not Burgers. It's not Business Resource Group or Be Rough Gay, Big Raving Gorilla, Bloody Rat Bag, BRG. No. What does BRG mean? No. No, it's not a blue rapid gerbil. It's not best regards. That's only 2 words. It's not a big rough guy. Many of the answers here are really odd. It is text speak. Big rat grilled. BRG. Kashmiri gets it with British Racing Green. BRG. So it's similar to Brunswick Green, Hunter Green, 4th Street Green. It's to do with motorsports. Obviously, Gordon Bennett and Jaguar and Aston Martin. So have we a winner?
Audrey.
We have a winner in Audrey. So Audrey is our winner of our quiz. Audrey has 5 points, as opposed to Cash Amiri, who has 4 points, and Sarah Havison, who has 3 points. Steve has 3 points, and Edwina Neal with 2 points, and Richie Dupay and TMTB with 1 point, and Elaine Harvey with 1 point. So I'm sorry to say the dog is climbing all over. No, naughty dog. Right, here you are. So thank you very much for joining in our quiz. It was fabulous that you joined in. So how lovely of you all to join in our quiz. It was a wonderful thing that you all joined in with. So thank you for your efforts of joining in with our quiz. The man who helped with the quiz has fled, and I'm left with these little dogs. So have you further questions for me? So I don't know what to say other than thank you. It was very, very kind of you all to join in with our quiz. If you want to support this channel, you're very welcome. That would be appreciated. I don't think we've had anybody support this channel this evening, so you know it's nice of those that did in the past. But if anyone new wants to support the channel and become members of this channel, or help other ways via other means, you're very welcome. It would be much appreciated. We do make a huge effort to come up with these quizzes and things for you. So, it's all very jolly. And it would be great to have more of you involved. But we can't keep doing these things without support. So support is always welcomed. Just getting involved and bringing other people is wonderful too. So whatever you can do to bring more support to this channel would be fantastic. But obviously, I've done 100. This is the 137th of these quizzes that we've done. So, they're 20 questions each. Takes me a bit of time to research. Good work, but you'll soon get hopefully a book of that. I want to do that as a book, but I want to do all sorts of other things, and it's just lovely to get you all involved, and it's just lovely to have you all involved in any way you wish. So it's up to you what you wish to do, but just watching this channel is really appreciated, and it's really, really kind of you all to be there. So thank you for that. And look, we've got these little friends here who join in. Obviously, in a couple of days is the anniversary of the death of poor old Lady Min. You all loved her. We've had all sorts of people on this channel who've come and gone. But we've had people who want to be in the background, and we've had people like Simon Danksack who speak, but we will soon be doing interviews, and they will be live they will be interviews, but I think they'll be pre-recorded to begin. But we're going to do proper interviews, like I've been on other people's channels doing interviews. I'm going to do some interviews with a few people myself, and we will be talking with some famous faces about various topics. So please email me and ask me what you want me to ask these people questions about. I will let you know who they are when we announce it. But the people who we will talk about, you're welcome to suggest topics, ideas, questions, whatever you'd like, because I appreciate your input. Thank you for supporting me along the way in this. And yeah, Lady Min, God bless her, and she was a huge encouragement in all of this. And it's wonderful to have good people and, lovely people supporting us. So if you want to support this, you must please just send ideas or anything you want. So we're quite happy to involve you all in any way we can. And this little dog is getting rather enthusiastic, so I can't really do much. But on that front, right, so there we go. Well, people are making allegations about certain people, but I don't think that's the certain person you're referring to. But anyway, thank you very, very much for joining in. And right, okay. So, no, sorry, I've just got to stop this poor dog jumping off the table. So, anyway, next, have we any more questions? Let's have some more questions on any old topic. We will quite happily do any more questions. And who owns the dog? Well, the person whose apartment it is. So, anyway, I say thank you very, very much. And I'm guessing I should just say I should leave you all in peace, given we're not getting any direct questions. Okay, well, thank you very, very much. It's been lovely of you to have made a lovely program, and we hope to see you again all soon. And we'll do another program sometime soon. So thank you very much, and have a lovely evening. Thank you. Okay. No, okay, right. What do I think of James English, the podcaster? Before I go, I've no idea what this man has been involved in, because I've never met the man. But if he's been convicted of something, well, he's been convicted of something. But if he hasn't, I've no idea, because I do not know the man, and I cannot possibly comment on somebody I don't know anything about. So it would be better I say nothing than talk a load of rubbish about something I don't know. But what I will say is he's a rather opinionated man who seems to get himself involved with some pretty awful people who I don't really know much about. So anyway, I just wish to say that I'm very lucky that I get involved with some wonderful people. And may I thank all those wonderful people for supporting me and being good to me. And here we are. We have this little dog here. Here we are. Lovely little friends here. Good people attract good people. And, here we are. We have a good little friend. Lovely. But we just need to be happy in life and support good things. So may I say thank you very much. And let's say we'll have a quiet and peaceful evening, and say thank you very much and have a wonderful night. So take care, and my best wishes to you all. May you have a wonderful evening. Thank you and good night. Thank you.